Our farmers need some certainty that they will be able to farm next year if their crops are not bringing in enough income to provide for their families. The Agricultural Commodities Price Enhancement Act directly addresses this by increasing reference prices for key commodities grown in eastern North Carolina and across the United States. Precision agriculture helps our farmers to be successful, profitable, and productive. We must ensure our growers have access to the cutting-edge precision agriculture technologies and broadband services necessary to do what they do best.
Agriculture is a tough industry. It's backbreaking work with the consistent risk that a storm or a drought or an early freeze can wipe out herds or crops, sometimes in an instant. Then add market fluctuations, processing and transportation challenges, and our current inflation crisis. It's not an easy life, but despite its many challenges, it is a tradition worth living.
And at one point I said, Mr. Ford, do we really need to pray over literally every single thing? And she said to me, how does the Lord's Prayer begin? Give us this day our daily bread. And she said, you know, if you take a moment and be grateful for the simple things in life, for the beauty of creation, for the blessing of relationships, for the opportunity to be alive and to eat and to continue through your day, that's a foundation.
And by the way, this is the most corrupt White House, the most corrupt government we've ever seen.
Thank God. I talking about me. This is the most corrupt show I have ever seen in my entire life.
Then as Democrats, we have to start talking about how we would fix it. And what happened in this last election, as you know, is that we made democracy the tent pole of the Harris campaign. Right. But that doesn't make people feel good that you're having to give them a little bit of money to compensate for the fact that work doesn't pay in this country.
There you go.
Drug company CEOs are making out like bandits buying their 7th house, right?
Hallelujah!
Right?
Hallelujah!
So if you were really serious about communicating a message that resonates with people, you wouldn't be talking about just negotiating in a different way for 10 drugs.
There should be a challenge to Donald Trump and a challenge to the Republicans that are hiding behind Donald Trump and allowing him to be the king that he wants to be. That's where the problem is. It's not with Chuck Schumer. It's not with Hakeem Jeffries. The problem is some of my Republican colleagues who should be standing for the country first decides to just let Donald Trump move like he's a king.
I would say about 20%, Congressman, and it makes all the difference in the world for them to have a place to call home and be safe and well cared for.
And then what are the 2 types of programs that traditionally Medicaid funding comes in for our seniors around here?
Sure. So the traditional Medicaid that folks are probably going to think of first is the long-term care Medicaid that pays for a nursing home stay for the rest of that senior's life.
If I didn't have Medicaid, I would not have the freedom to live my life. Medicaid provides home care and support so I can live a life of independence. Medicaid provides me with no or low-cost prescription drugs. If Medicaid was discontinued, I would not have a life. So please contact your lawmakers and tell them not to cut Medicaid. Thank you so much.
One of the things that Amy shared with me is how significant it is to pass the Restore Act federally, and I intend to sign on to this as soon as I get back to DC. But tell us, everybody, just what is the Restore Act real quick?
The Restore Act restores the ability for patients to choose how and when they transition to Medicare during a certain coordination period. It's important for them when they think about how do I pay for dialysis, how do I care for myself, how do I care for my family.
It's important.
But A small business ought not to have to hire a lawyer just to apply for a simple government contract. Unlike large corporations, small businesses lack teams of lawyers to navigate complex federal procurement rules. Government contracts should be accessible, not a bureaucratic maze favoring big firms. That's why I'm proud to reintroduce the Plain Language in Contracting Act, ensuring federal agencies use clear, straightforward language in solicitations. This will remove barriers, increase transparency, and give small businesses a fair shot.
The Social Security Administration in the late 70s put into place 2 new rules.
They reduced payments to certain retirees who receive pension income, like public school teachers, postal workers, police, and firefighters. The new Social Security Fairness Act aims to correct that.
All we were asking for is to get the same benefits that everybody else in the country gets. And honestly, it was a blip on the horizon. It was, okay, they're working on it, you know, what's gonna happen. The last 2 years, the tempo picked up. I stayed glued to the TV. Going back and forth with one of the Facebook groups for retirees, you know, who said what? Of course, Senator Ossoff, of course he supports it, to watch the roll call and realize you're really gonna get it this time.
Millions of retired public service workers will now see increased Social Security benefits.
John Ossoff championed the bill called the Social Security Fairness Act.
I cried after all those years.
Nicole, what's your motto?
My motto is Lyona Local 1029 state and federal employees are the best members that I could ever have. I'm an advocate for them. I'll always be an advocate for them, getting fair wages. I appreciate them, and I want them to know that I'm here working on their behalf, making sure they get what they deserve as state employees and federal employees in the state of Delaware.
Thanks, Nicole.